Welcome back, guys, for another video. Today we're going to talk about the importance of not using decision makers in your sales call. Let's get into it. All right, guys, here we go. All right, so we're going to talk about today why you should not use decision makers in any sort of part of your sales call. So what I mean by that, so a part of our script is we try to identify the roadblocks or decision makers in the conversation, in the call with the seller, because we want to make sure that we're talking to everyone that has, input on the decision to sell this home, right? We want to make sure when we're giving offers that we're only talking to people and we're talking to every person that can say yes or no. That way we don't expose an offer to, let's say, the wife who has to talk to the husband, because if we don't expose it to them together, they can now go shop that offer, right? What do I mean by that? The wife can now take the offer because the husband wasn't there to say yes or no, and now have time to go to other people before she talks to her husband, or even when she does talk to her husband, go to other people and shop our offer around, because we didn't have all the decision makers on the phone. And with not having all the decision makers on the phone, right, we weren't able to get a yes or a no from the seller, right, because she had to talk to someone else. So that's another important thing, because what we find a lot, and this is why it's important not to use decision maker. One, it sounds very salesy, very car salesman. Hey, is all the decision makers here? It sounds very, very salesy, and we want to try not to be, right? We want to be as close as a friend to them as possible, and as much as not as a salesman as possible, right? But the other reason why is, let's think about it. Most of the husbands we talk to, right? They say they're the decision maker, right? Because obviously us as men, we have the idea that we control everything, or we want to, right? So even if the wife had some input on the decision, which that's the key, right? We should ask for who has input on this decision, because if we just ask with who's the decision maker, he might say it's me. I'm the only one on the deed, but that doesn't necessarily mean he's the only decision maker, because his wife also has input on the decision, right? So reframing the word decision maker, hey, instead of asking sellers, hey, who's the decision maker, because 99% of the time the man or the person's going to say them, we can ask who else has input on this decision. Because what we're going to find out is that there's actually other people that might not be a decision maker, right? They might say that they're the decision maker, but there's other people that have influence or input on this decision. And if we can get those people on the phone, that's going to prevent there to being a roadblock between being able to say, get a confident yes or no from the seller, and not being able to do that, right? Because if we go on that phone and we give that husband, right, hey, the property qualifies for $200,000. Oh, well, I got to talk to my wife. Well, I'm confused. You said that you were the only decision maker. I am, but I still got to influence, and I still got to talk to my wife. And sometimes he might not even tell you that. He's like, well, I'm just not ready yet. Wait, hold on. I thought you told me that you were ready to go and that you were the only decision maker. Yeah, but I got to do some more thinking. And what he's really doing is he's got to go give that number to the other person that might have input on the decision, right? They might not be the decision maker. Hey, I make all the decisions, but his wife is definitely going to have influence. Another good example of this is if we've had homes where we're dealing with an older elderly woman. Now, she's the only one on the deed. She's the only one on the mortgage. It's her property. But of course, she's the only decision maker. But at the same time, she goes to her son, her eldest son. He's the one that really has input on the decision. She's going to listen to whatever he has to say. So if we just asked who's the decision maker, she said it was me. Just me. I'm the only one on the deed. I'm the only one on the mortgage. It's my property. But if we rephrase it and say, who has input on this decision? So now the eldest son, that's a realtor, he is going to be the one that has input on the decision. She's going to say, whatever he tells me, I'm going to do. Right? So now, yes, she's a decision maker, but she's not the one that has input on the decision. Or maybe she has a little bit, but the son that's a realtor is going to have most input. Now we have that roadblock, and now we can attack that and say, okay, well, we can only give the offer to you and your son. Make sure he's on the phone so that he can give us a yes or a no. And why else do we want him on the phone? So that we can handle any objections he gives us. Because what's going to happen, you give the number to the grandma. Now, if he doesn't like that number, the son, he's going to say, just forget about them. You're screwed now. You didn't even get a no. Right? She's going to just stop answering you. Or two, even if he likes the number, I guarantee you he's going to find some objection with the agreement or something that you send over. And he's going to nitpick. And guess what? You might not even hear back from the lady. Because he might just say, forget about them, Mom. I don't want to deal with those type of people that have assignment clause in. when we know we could just take that out. But we couldn't tell him that because we weren't on the phone with him. We didn't know that he had input on the decision. Or else we could have been on the phone with him and we could have gone over the objection and said, hey, we could take that out of our agreement. Right? So little stuff like this is going to help you save deals, create deals. So if you gain value from this, please like, subscribe, share this with someone. And again, if you have any comments, any questions, leave them down below. And thanks for watching.